Derrick Henry will lead the Tennessee Titans to a victory over the Los Angeles Chargers. And I'll tell you exactly how they'll do it on a game plan edition of the Locked On Titans podcast. Let's get it.
You are Locked On Titans, your daily Tennessee Titans podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Titans podcast. I am your host, Tyler Rowland. Titans fans, today's game plan edition of the Locked On Titans podcast is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. It is a game plan Friday, and as I always do on Fridays throughout the season, I'm going to tell you what the Titans need to do schematically to win their upcoming game. We have a Week 2 matchup against the Los Angeles Chargers that a lot of people are not expecting the Titans to win. But I got to tell you, I get an inkling here that the Tennessee Titans are going to 1-1 after a victory. I'm going to go through the offense, the defense, some individual players to watch, tell you what I'm looking for, what the Titans need to do, and then ultimately hammer home my prediction of a win for the Titans at the end of the show. But we're going to start with the offense before we get into it. Thank you guys for making the Locked On Titans podcast your first listen each and every day. Remember, Monday through Friday, Tennessee Titans content all year round on all apps and always, and I mean always, for free. Make sure that you get subscribed, stay subscribed to the Locked On Titans podcast, where it's your team every day. And shout out to my everydayers out there, of course, tuning in all week long. I'm going to be going live on Sunday night immediately after the game for a 10-minute recap. I'll have a full 30-minute recap posted on Sunday night as well. And then we'll have Tic Tac Tuesday, where we dive into the tape. We'll have What's Next Wednesday, where we look forward to that next game against the Browns. Thursday's crossover Thursday, and we'll be back here next week for another game plan. But we got to focus on right now. And right now, the Tennessee Titans offense needs to get back to who they are at the core of their offense, and that is a bully. The Titans need to be a physical bully against the Los Angeles Chargers. Look, the Chargers last week went against a Miami Dolphins offense that threw the ball all over the place. No problem there. That's what they should have done with the talent that they have. But this Chargers defense is also a team that was 28th in rush defense in 2022, giving up 145 yards per game. They're also a team that I think the Titans can just push around, quite frankly. And a lot of what I want to see schematically from the Titans has to do with challenging the physicality of the Los Angeles Chargers, because I do not believe that if they fight this game in a phone booth with the Titans, that the Chargers can beat the Titans in that way. If it becomes a high-scoring match, it becomes a shootout, then, of course, the Titans have no chance against this kind of offense. But if the Titans can drag the Chargers down into the mud, and offensively, what I'm thinking there is classic Titans football with 2-3 tight ends on the field, heavy outside zone run to Derrick Henry, and the Chargers have struggled against outside zone runs historically. That's a type of run that they don't necessarily do well against, and I think the big thing there is their edges don't set a firm wall, and some of their linebackers don't necessarily diagnose plays. I'm looking at you, Kenneth Murray. I'm looking at you. So I think that the Chargers are susceptible to what the Titans can do best. Last week, when the Titans were really running the ball well, it was outside zone, where Derrick Henry is taking it to the perimeter. He can kind of see what the defense does, pick his hole, put his foot in the ground, and get uphill. Last week, everybody was complaining that Derrick Henry didn't get the ball enough. That cannot be a complaint this week. It simply can't. We need to see a ton of 2 tight end, 3 tight end, outside zone, inside zone. Hammer them to death with Derrick Henry. And Henry's rested. He only got 17 touches last week, so I'm expecting a 24-25 carry performance from Derrick Henry, where he absolutely bullies this Chargers defense. That's what I am expecting. And I want to get Derrick Henry the ball in space as well. Like I said, it's not just about in the run game. The Titans need to force the Chargers defense to tackle, put them in physical one-on-one situations, and see how they act. That includes those little swing screens to Derrick Henry out in the flat where they have blockers in front. I want to see at least 2 or 3 of those from Derrick Henry. I want to see some screen passes to Chikakonkwo. Can we get Chikakonkwo involved with a little short pass and see if he can turn that into some yards after catch opportunities? I want to get some quick passes out to Treylon Burks, especially if DeAndre Hopkins is out of this game. The Titans are probably going to struggle with a normal passing attack. So they need to get the ball quickly and out in space to their best players and force the Chargers to tackle. It's early in the season anyway, and the physical nature or the physical aspects of football, blocking, tackling, all that stuff, usually teams are a little behind on that, and that gets better as the season goes on because it's early. Well, while it's early, take advantage. Bully the Chargers, control the ball, run the ball, line up with multiple tight ends, keep them in their base defense, and punish them. I don't think that the Chargers are built for that kind of game. And now, that's how I feel about kind of the early down stuff. But if they do, which will happen, the Titans get into third and long situations, pure passing situations, the Chargers are going to play man coverage, press man coverage at that. In week 1, the Chargers played 80% man coverage. They pressed on 85% of their defensive plays, second highest in the league, only to the New Orleans Saints, which is exactly what the Titans saw last week. Because I've been saying for years now that teams play tight press man coverage against the Titans. No matter if they're a zone team, they're a man team, doesn't matter. They're playing tight man coverage on the Titans because the Titans don't have the personnel to consistently win. The only way that the Titans can consistently win against the press man coverage of the Chargers is for Tim Kelly to utilize motion. You have to use motion. Motion at the snap, motion before the snap, to give your guys free releases and not allow these press defenders to be chest to chest with your wide receivers and just stick them. If you have a guy in motion, you're not going to be able to stick him in press coverage like that. So we have to see more motion from Tim Kelly. But again, got to scheme up those explosive plays, and Tannehill has to hit. That is obviously a thing. But outside of what I want to see early downs, outside of what's important on third downs, just play cleaner football. Don't turn over the ball. Don't have penalties. Take the easy ones. Take advantage of the easy ones. So if you take advantage of the easy plays that are there for you, you don't turn over the ball, and you don't have all these penalties, then you're going to be in a great spot to control the ball, to bully the Chargers, to stay ahead of the chains, to stay in your offense, to run the ball to Derrick Henry and keep him involved. The Titans, first and foremost, more importantly than anything else schematically, the Titans have to play cleaner football with their turnovers and their penalties and their operation. That is basic functionality stuff. So wanted to at least mention that as well. But we're going to move over to the defensive side of the ball because there's some injury news with the Chargers that I think is important that we're going to dive into that might change the way the Titans play on defense in this game. Before we get into that, though, do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Buying tickets to your favorite events shouldn't be stressful. And the Game Time is fast, it's easy, and it's the best way to buy tickets for sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. They have killer last-minute deals on tickets, and they have a best price guarantee so you can stop stressing over tickets and start getting hyped for the fun that you're going to have. Game Time is the place for last-minute ticket deals. The Game Time guarantee means that you'll always get the best price, and if you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time is going to credit you 110% of the difference. They show you images of where your seat is so you know exactly what your view is like before you arrive. Make sure that you snag tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNFL. That's one word, LOCKEDONNFL, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Titans Titans fans, let's continue this game plan edition of the Locked On Titans podcast for week 2 against the Los Angeles Chargers. I just talked about what I want to see from the Titans offense. They need to play a physical game, multiple tight ends, try to keep the Chargers base defense off the field and bully them with outside zone with Derrick Henry, just absolutely turn it into a phone booth fight. And I think that's where the Titans will be most comfortable. They need to utilize motion so that they can get off the tight press coverage that Los Angeles is going to play in this game. And more importantly than anything else, they just need to play cleaner on offense with limited turnovers, limited penalties, and taking advantage of the opportunities that arise like they didn't last week. But we're going to move it to the defensive side of the ball now and talk about what they need to do from an X's and O's standpoint. Before we get into it, I want to thank you guys again for making the Locked On Titans podcast your first listen each and every day, Monday through Friday, Tennessee Titans content all year round, always for free. Get subscribed. Like 50% of the people who watch the show aren't subscribed. It makes no sense to me. Get subscribed, stay subscribed, throw a thumbs up on the video right now as well. And let me know down below, do you think the Titans are going to win this game? What is your final score prediction? Let me know down below. But diving into the defense. So number one on my list, in my mind, is pass rush integrity. To me, this is not much different than what the game plan is when the Titans play against the Bills and Josh Allen. Okay? I'm looking at it like that. A guy who can beat you with his legs, who has the athleticism to do it. Herbert isn't necessarily known as the runner that Josh Allen is, but nonetheless, he has the ability to really hurt you. So for me, the most important thing is pass rush integrity. And what do I mean? I mean the outside edges must contain. You must keep your rush lanes. The Titans cannot have two defensive tackles moved over to one side to open up an interior rush lane for Justin Herbert to step up through. The Titans cannot allow their edges, which happened a few times last week and happened all year last year. The Titans cannot allow their edges to get too far inside or to get washed past the quarterback to open up a way for Justin Herbert to escape out of the pocket, especially to the right-hand side. The Titans must force him left. They need to use wide rushes by Harold Landry on the left-hand side of the defense to force Justin Herbert to go to the left, his left-hand side. Do not let Justin Herbert roll out to the right. Do not. You can't. So, as a whole, the only way that the Titans are going to get absolutely smoked on third downs throughout this game is if they let Herbert out of the pocket to play make, ask their cornerbacks and safeties to guard even longer. They have to keep him in the pocket. I'm not going to go as far as to say the mush rush that I famously mentioned in the schematic lead up to the Baltimore Ravens playoff game in 2019 that everyone still talks to me about. We can't go with mush rush because Herbert isn't that much of a threat with mobility like Lamar Jackson would be. But the Titans have to be disciplined in their pass rush contain or Herbert is going to smoke them outside the pocket, and they can't allow that to happen. Talking about kind of the shell that I want to see from the defense schematically, I want to see two high safeties all game long. So what happened last week against the Dolphins was the Dolphins played a lot of two high safety where they have two safeties back deep rather than a single high safety back deep. So the Dolphins would have two high safety and the Chargers were able to run the ball. I mean, they ran for over 200 yards. It was a great performance rushing the football. Okay, but the Dolphins were kind of like, okay, go ahead. We're going to be in too high so that we don't give you explosive passing plays down the field. Well, I think the Titans can do what Miami did and keep two high safeties, but also stop the run in nickel. And that's key. The Titans were the best run defense in the NFL last year. And they did most of that with 5 defensive backs on the field. Okay? So what I'm looking for here, if the Titans are going to be in two high safety looks to prevent against the deep ball, then they will need Jeffrey Simmons and Tyjae Tart to absolutely dominate up front. Because the Chargers are going to try to double team them, displace them off the line of scrimmage, and open up holes for their running backs. Jeffrey Simmons and Tyjae Tart have to win against those double teams. They have to. No question about it. Not only that, but talking about run defense, whoever plays at the nickel, whether it be Elijah Molden, whether it be Roger McCreary, whether they call up Eric Garrower, which I think might happen this week from the practice squad. The run defense will go as the nickel cornerback goes, because when the Titans go into nickel defense with 4 linemen, 2 linebackers, and 5 defensive backs, but they want to stop the run against 2 tight end sets, that means that nickel back is essentially playing as a linebacker. They have to play with physicality. They have to tackle. They have to be in their run fits. So to me, it's all about stopping the run here. The Chargers ran for 200 yards, and if the Titans allow the Chargers to run the ball anywhere near what they did last week, they're going to have way too easy of opportunities on third downs to convert, and there's no way that the Titans are going to be able to cover them. Just no way at all. So the Titans must stop the rushing attack led by offensive coordinator Kellen Moore of the Chargers. If they don't, they have no chance in this game. But guess what? I think the Titans' run defense is ready for the challenge. I think that the Chargers can put 2 tight ends out on the field, and the Titans can still stop the run in nickel. And if they do that, it's going to give them great opportunities. Great opportunities. Outside of all of that, red zone defense. So in week 1, the Titans' red zone defense was 75%, 3 for 4. They did a great job holding the field goals. The Titans' defense is not going to be able to stop the Chargers' offense from moving up and down the field entirely. It's just too talented of an offense. That's not going to happen. At some point, what is going to happen is the Titans are going to have to bow their neck in the red zone. They're going to have to do it. And if they can hold the Chargers to a couple of field goals, 3 field goals, something like that, they give the team a chance. They give their team a chance. So I think one thing that'll be incredibly important in the red zone is the defensive line getting their hands up. Because in the red zone, the Chargers like to go after their big-bodied targets. They like to throw to the 6'8" tight end, Parham, and they like to look for Mike Williams, who's 6'2", 6'3". Well, some of these plays, Herbert's getting the ball out of his hands so quickly that the pass rush can't matter. There's just no way for the pass rush to get there that fast. And he's just lobbing it up to a tall guy who's way taller than the defensive back that's covering him, and they're getting easy touchdowns. The only way the Titans can properly counter that is if the defensive line gets their hands in the air and knocks down those passes. To a point, there's nothing you can do about those with the physical mismatches that are presented. So the only thing the Titans can do, if the pass rush doesn't have time to get there, the only thing they can do is get their hands up, get their hands in passing lanes, get a couple of tip passes. Who knows if that turns into turnovers? The Titans will have to get tip passes in the low red zone against the Chargers. They'll have to on those quick throws that Herbert's trying to get in there over the middle. So look for that. Look for tip passes in the red zone by the Titans defense. But overall, contain the quarterback with disciplined pass rush. Play 2 high safety looks so that you don't give up deep shots. Stop the run in nickel. Tart, Simmons, the nickel cornerback will be key to that. And then red zone defense, the Titans have to hold to a few field goals. That's the only way that this is going to work. But I'll tell you, I do think it's going to work. And I'm going to tell you what I think my final score is, why I think the Titans are winning after all this that I just explained. And we're going to dive into all that in just a moment. Before we do, though, do want to let you guys know that today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Look, guys, life is hard. Life is difficult. You don't have to do it alone. You don't have to be an island, isolate yourself, and all that. It's just not necessary. I know that I have had plenty of times in my life where my thoughts are racing. I'm staying up at night, waking up early, wondering about how things are going to go. And it's just difficult to be your best self when you're in that kind of state. I worked with BetterHelp a little bit. And honestly, it was really helpful, not only to just talk to somebody, but kind of learn about some positive things that you can do to help with some of the issues that you're going through in day-to-day life. So if you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's literally designed to be convenient, super flexible, suited to your schedule. I really like that you fill out this questionnaire so that they can match you with the right licensed therapist. But you can switch therapists at any time, and they don't charge you for it. So I like that sort of flexibility as well. But get a break from your thoughts with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOn today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp. Better. HELP. BetterHelp.com/LockedOn. Also want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Look, Prize Picks is daily fantasy sports made easy. So here's how it works. You don't bet against or play against a bunch of pros, sharks, bots, all that. It's just you against the projections at Prize Picks. So you'll pick 2 to 5 players, basically, and there's a projection for them. Saquon Barkley, more than 60 yards. Patrick Mahomes, more than 2 passing touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers, not Aaron Rodgers now, but Travis Kelce, more than 50 yards. All you do is pick a couple of players, look at their projection, and say whether they're going to do more or less. And if you get all your picks right, you can win big time money. So go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL. Use the code LockedOnNFL for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL. Use the code LockedOnNFL for a first deposit match up to $100. It's Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. Titans fans, let's cap off today's edition of the Locked On Titans podcast. It is a game plan Friday. I can already hear the YouTube comments. It's Thursday. Nobody cares. You get the show early. Quit crying at me. All right, everybody. With that being said, though, sorry, I digress. Little venting session for you guys there. But with that being said, it's time to get into my final prediction. It's time to get into who I think will be the most important players in this game, what I think the final score will be, all of that. Before we get into it, thanks again for making the Locked On Titans podcast your first listen every day. I am going to be live on Sunday immediately after the game is over. I'm going to have a 10 to 15-minute instant reaction. I'm going to come back with my full 30-minute breakdown later that night. So make sure that you guys get subscribed, stay subscribed to the Locked On Titans podcast. But I said it yesterday. I said it was tentative. But the more I've thought about it, the more tape I watched, the more I looked at the advantages and disadvantages here, and the more I just kind of channeled my inner Tennessee Titans intuition. This is a game the Titans win. This is a game the Titans win. We're all trashing them. Tannehill's cooked. Blah, blah, blah. This team's not going to be very good. You got Ian Rappaport on NFL Network talking about, oh, Malik Willis, I don't know if he sucks anymore. Maybe he's good. Maybe the Titans put him in. I mean, this is one of those moments. And if the Titans don't respond here, if the Titans don't respond and don't win this game, we'll have a little bit of a different conversation on Sunday. And I'll be pretty disappointed, no lie. Look, the Titans are a physical football team. The Chargers are not. They are not a physical football team. The Saints are a physical football team. The Titans couldn't go in there and just bully the Saints physically. Not happening. New Orleans is a tough team. I said all week their defense was good. One person was in the comments all week saying, why do we think the Saints defense is good? Because we're logical. Saints defense is good. Saints probably win that division. So they maybe couldn't do it last week, but they can this week, and they need to. And if they just out-physical the Chargers, they're going to find a way. And like I said, red zone defense will be important. I think the Chargers get opportunities. I think the Titans hold them. I think the Titans win this game 24-23. The Titans get 3 touchdowns, 1 field goal. The Chargers get 2 touchdowns, and the Titans hold them to 3 field goals. Titans win this game 24-23. Crazy stuff happens at the end. There's a crazy play in the fourth quarter. Every time the Titans and Chargers play, there's something wild that happens. Every time. So, I know I sound crazy, and everybody was acting like I was nuts. And it does sound crazy. But there's just something in me saying that the Titans are going to win this game. And with that being said, the Titans are home underdogs getting 3.5 points. You're giving Mike Vrabel 3.5 points at home? I love that. And look, the Titans didn't win last week, but I did say Titans +3 was a good bet. And, hey, Want to know against the spread, baby. So I'm telling you now, Titans 3.5. Really, if you can tease that up, on FanDuel Sportsbook, I get about Titans 9.5. Oh, combine that with something else. Packers plus 1.5 on FanDuel. Packers plus 1.5 on FanDuel. Get you a little 6-point tease on those two. You are cooking. But anyways, I just think the Titans win this one. And again, when we look at the players that'll make the biggest difference, Derrick Henry, I think Derrick Henry has a huge game. He went for over 100 yards against the Chargers when they played last year. I think Derrick Henry goes for about $125 and 2 touchdowns. I think Henry goes wild in this one. I do. Tyjae Spears, a little bit of a groin issue in practice, but he was full on Thursday. I think Spears is going to be fine. I said Spears would be good last week, and if he catches that pass down the sideline from Tannehill, that means that he had 9 yards per carry on 3 carries and had a 60-yard touchdown pass. The Chargers are going to play man defense in this game, and the Titans have to take advantage of Kenneth Murray. Kenneth Murray, attack. So if they play man coverage and Kenneth Murray is on Tyjae Spears, attack him. Same thing with Chigakonkwo. Tyjae Spears and Chigakonkwo, Derrick Henry, Treylon Burks. Those 4 guys have to have good games, and I think that they all will. So, with that being said, I'm excited for the game. I'm ready to go. I think the Titans win this one. I'm ready to be hurt again. I'm feeling healthy belief right now in the Titans winning this game on Sunday. So let me know down below if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, how crazy that you think I am. But I'll be back with you guys on Sunday night. Multiple shows breaking down the game. Can't wait for it. But that is going to do it for me today, folks. As always, I am your host, Tyler Rowland, and this was Locked On Titans.